Yes, yes, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's featured specials. This is Loose Lips. We started on Monday. We had some incredible chats. Loose Lips is geared behind spreading positive, loving vibes. Obviously, the situation that we're going through at the moment, this is designed to take your mind away from it, escape, enjoy, just have a good laugh and learn about some people you may know, some people you may not know, but just learn a bit more about their life and feel inspired just through the chats that we have. So very fortunate. Our first chat coming up is going to be with a gentleman by the name of Chris Fountain. You'll definitely recognise him. One of Bradford's finest he is. Shout out to everybody that's coming through. I see you all. Give you all little cheeky waves on here. Ooh, let's give some waves out. Wave, 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 wave. Shout out with some waves to you all there. We're just waiting for him to come through. As soon as he comes through, we'll get him linked up. Mush, we'll get him on, and we'll get chatting on the split screen. Likewise, as long as you're locked in, if you want to send any questions, you want me to put to him, anything like that, feel free, and I'll look to involve them in the chat as well. So yeah, we're just waiting for him to come through, and then we shall begin. Is it wrong to drink whiskey at 3? It bets not, because I've been drinking it since 1. Way, rock and roll, rock and roll. So yeah, those of you that are not familiar with Chris, he was in Hollyoaks back in the day as Justin when Hollyoaks was the show. He was also in Coronation Street. But I'm going to speak to him more about life after that, really. Not giving too much away, but I've been quite familiar with him for a few years, and one of the craziest places that I managed to bump into him was Burning Man in America, in the desert. So I'm wanting to learn more about his wanderlust. You know, he seems like he's a seeker. He's currently in Bali as we speak. He's stuck out in Bali. I see he's just joined. So Chris, if you want to send us a request, I'll get you added, and then we'll get cracking away. But yeah, he's currently in Bali as we speak. It's just gone past 11 there, 11 in the evening. So it's pretty crazy. Fair play for him for joining at this time. So yeah, if you send request, brother, and then we'll get locked in. He's sent a cheeky wave. He's in the room. He's in the room. It should just be on your bottom of the thread, you know, like on the comments thread. If you scroll to the top, and you should see it saying send Ben a request, then you send that, I'll accept it. Here we go. Yes, loud, in the words of Yes, loud. Technology is connecting. Let's see if this works from Leeds to Bali.
Yes.
Yes, brother. How are you, man? You good?
Now then, how are we?
Yes, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Things could be a hell of a lot worse.
Well, yeah, let's take it up from there straight off, because obviously what we're going through is crazy enough, but to be trapped out in Bali, obviously you're sort of stuck in paradise, so it has a weird sort of caveat to it. But can you talk us through the process of going out to then almost realising that you're sort of abandoned out there?
Yeah, I mean, so what happened was my friend Lloyd kind of lives in Bali for 6 months of the year. Here he is.
Hello. Yes, Lloyd.
Yeah, and he's been going on at me saying, you've got to come out and visit me. DJ's quite a lot over here. And so this was just at the very beginning of the coronavirus thing. It was kind of happening, but it still wasn't at the level that it's at in the UK at the moment. So I checked on the government website, and I was like, is it going to be safe for me to go? And everything was clear. And I was like, all right, cool. So I came out here I actually came out on Friday the 13th of March. So that was not a bad omen to start off with. So anyway, I arrived, and the first couple of days, everything was kind of sweet, and then it kind of changed after the first 4 or 5 days. It's still, I mean, even now, still here, we're not properly locked down. You can still travel around. There's still a few things that are open and stuff, but in terms of all the bars are shut, all the restaurants are pretty much takeout only. Which, to be honest, mate, when I'm looking at like what's going on at home and people just being completely locked down, like I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. But the only thing that's a bit concerning is like they're not really sure if Bali are kind of giving the right numbers out of how many people are getting it, or whether there could be a chance of it turning into an epidemic here. I mean, I've had 2 flights cancelled so far.
So you are trying to look to get back then? So you are trying to get
kind of, yeah. I mean, it's a tough one because.
I think we might have just lost him there. 1 sec.
Hello, are we there?
Sorry, mate. Yeah. Come back through. You just come back through now. So you were just saying it's a tricky one.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's because I mean, the government say you've got to try and get back as soon as possible.
Okay.
Hang on a sec. 1 sec.
Everyone watching, thank you for holding tight. This is me talking with Chris Fountain.
Are we working? Are we back on?
He's currently in Bali, so we're just obviously gauging what it's like with the Wi-Fi picking him up. So yeah,
I'm trying.
Respect, brother. We've got you now, yeah, man. Yeah, we've got you now, brother.
It's an odd situation because they've told us that we should try and get back as soon as possible, but it's really difficult to find flights. There's flights getting cancelled left, right, and centre, and then it's like, well, what am I coming back to? Like, I'm going to have to travel through like 3 airports, which is going to be a risk. And then when I get back, I can't go and see my family because I've got a quarantine for 2 weeks. And then I'm just going to be stuck in my flat in London. So I'm like, well, I might as well just try and make the most of being out here. I mean, I'm so lucky to be here, like to still be able to like look at the stars and see the sunsets and just be able to ride around on my bike a little bit. I don't think we've not really been taking that in up until like the last couple of days. We're like, wow, we're pretty lucky to be here at the moment. But I am missing my family and stuff. I mean, the only real worry that I've got is that if I was to get ill out here, or if anyone in my family was to get ill at home, there's no way that either of us can get to each other. That's my only concern really. But other than that, it's all positive vibes over here, mate. It's all good.
You are a positive brother, and I want to sort of lean on the family side a bit because you are a proper family man, aren't you? I remember back in the day, obviously when you were on the come up and stuff, and you and your mum have a real close relationship.
Yeah, super tight, man. Yeah, it's for most of my childhood and growing up, it was me, my mum, and my grandma and granddad. So that's kind of just what my little family unit was. And it's still pretty much that now. I mean, we lost my grandma a few years ago, but she was an absolute boss woman. And yeah, to be honest, it was actually nice because just before I flew out to Bali, I was back up in Bradford for a while, helping my mum move house. And yeah, Bradford massive. But yeah, she's moved house, and it was interesting because the house we used to live in, we'd been there for 25 years. So pretty much my entire life was in the loft at that house. Like my school books, my planners, like my first ever Hollyoaks script, like just everything you can imagine. And it was a stress, like going through everything, but it was actually really nostalgic, man. Like to look through, like reading my French coursework and like just reading my planners, like CF loves whoever it was at that point. There was all sorts of stuff in there, man. It was really, really nice.
It's mad that, when you move like the family home, especially for us, the sort of home that you were, grew into being a teenager and then becoming an adult in, it's so many memories that evoke when you're walking around there, and it feels like a good change of chapter. But
you forget a lot of them, though. You forget until you see the evidence. You forget a lot of stuff.
Yeah, isn't it mad how like the mind pockets away different memories until you've got that little trigger, and then it's like, oh my gosh, and you remember it as fresh as the day. Like my mum were moving, and she handed me. Do you remember the record of achievement?
Oh mate, I found mine.
You know what I'm saying, mate?
Ever.
The record of achievement.
Never used it. Mate, I found mine. I was like, shit, what did I achieve here? What did I actually achieve? And I looked at it. I was like, I never used any of this ever.
No. The record of achievement is such a crazy, crazy thing. It's like so much
Oh,
went into
mate.
putting it
But
in,
you
and then
remember, you used to be so proud of it.
yeah, exactly. Like that was your thing. Like any
Yeah,
time
man.
between 17 and 19 before really college or out, you'd take your record of achievement to every sort of interview that you
Yeah.
had. You'd be like, "Ooh, look at this! Ooh, look at my record of achievement with all these
Yeah,
certificates
man.
in there." It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
so
Yeah,
what?
but it was, go on.
No, sorry, you go. Go on.
I can't remember what I was going to say now.
He's blessed, man. What I was going to sort of lead on from there with is talk to us through, because you would have been getting different parts. In fact, which stage school did you go to? Did you go to stage 84?
Do you know what? I never, it's a weird one for me, this. I never actually formally trained. Like, I went to stage 84 for, I think I went for 2 weeks and I hated every minute of it. Like, it was, I felt, I mean, no disrespect to anybody who went to stage 84. I'm sure some people did great there, but it just wasn't for me. Like, I didn't feel like my face fit, and you had to have your dance shoes and you pay all this money, and it's just like, it just wasn't for me, man. So I actually started out in, I did like an Buttershaw St. Paul's Amateur Operatic and Dramatic Society. And it was a woman that my mum used to work for. And I was just a hyperactive kid. And she was like, oh, you should bring him down to like be in the pantomime. And I was like 6 or 7 or whatever. And I've gone down and just fallen in love with everything, really. Dancing, singing, acting, all that. And then as I kind of grew up, I went through, did a few more shows with Buttershaw St. Paul's. Then Les Miserables actually came to Bradford on tour. And
Alhambra.
I'd never heard of it at the time. I was only 10. And then my mum's friend said, oh, you should go audition for it. And I was like, yeah, all right, why not? And again, I turned up there and there was all these kids with their agents and the CVs and the dance shoes and all that. I turned up with my pumps from Windsor. Yeah, no, I turned up with my 199 Windsor Warehouse pumps and beat them all.
Windsor's World of Shoes. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh, we got Ryan Thomas watching. Yes, Ryan. He's locked down as well. But yeah, so from there, I got Les Mis, and then in my little 10-year-old head, that was it. Then I was going to be an actor, and that's what I was going to do. And then I did a couple more other shows. I did Oliver again at Bradford Alhambra, and did Les Mis again in Manchester. And then I got to a point within like musical theatre where I was too young to play an adult and too old to play a child's part, and there was no real kind of place for me at that time. So then I started out with an agent called Carol Godby in Manchester, and then started just going for TV auditions. And I was what was I like? I was just going for auditions for like different, like small parts and stuff, and I was getting quite a lot of stuff, which was lovely. And then all of a sudden, in my last year of high school, I went to Intake High School in Leeds. My last year, as I was doing my GCSEs, I got Hollyoaks, and that just turned everything on its head for me.
Before we delve into Hollyoaks, could you maybe shed some light on the audition stages? You know, the sort of, because that's a whole world in itself. I think that'd be a really cool documentary to really sort of look at the audition side, because there's so much that goes into it before obviously you actually get the part.
Yeah, I mean, it's each audition is completely different, you know. Like there's not really a set kind of. I mean, musical theatre auditions are completely different to like film and television auditions. Like it's musical theatre auditions, in my experience, have been kind of like the archetypal. You know, like if you see an audition on a. Hang on, sorry. There's a massive lizard that lives in this villa that we're staying in, and he makes some weird noises, and he's really big.
What we'll try to do at some point, anyway. I've got my cat just chilling over there. We'll see if the cat and the lizard. That sounds like a pub. It sounds like a pub.
Honestly, you want to see, like, I know we're pretty much like in the jungle, but you want to see some of the creatures that live here, man. Like in this past few weeks, I've seen the biggest spider I've ever seen. I had to rescue a frog from Lloyd's room. I've seen a snake, monkeys, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. Crazy out here. It's crazy out here. But back to the audition process, it can be extremely daunting. Like, I think one of the main things as an actor you have to have is like mental toughness, because you have to, there's so many times you go into an audition and you won't get the part. And if you are sensitive to that, it's probably not the right job for you, because if you go in and get completely knocked every time you don't get a part, it's gonna affect you. So you just have to kind of go in, do the best you can do, and walk out and leave it behind you. Because, but then in the same sense, like sometimes, especially in TV stuff, like and film stuff, you'll go in for an audition and you go for a recall, and then you'll have to send a self-tape off via the internet, and then you'll be on Skype calls with producers and stuff, and then you'll be thinking you're getting so close to do it, and then all of a sudden you just won't hear from them ever again, ever.
Really?
They don't ring up and go, "Oh, sorry, you didn't get it." They just go, "Nah."
Just leading like, you on.
Yeah, it makes you take, but that's part of the industry, and it's just something you have to kind of like just suck up sometimes.
Do you feel with the extensive experience that you've had, obviously that comes with that experience, or straight away at that young age, were you quite mentally strong to battle through?
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, like I said, going through my first audition, like, I mean, as a youngster, I think when you're a kid, you have that confidence anyway. Do you know what I mean? You have that, like, you don't care. Like, you'll go and play with anybody. You'll go and talk to anybody. Like, I mean, I did anyway.
Do you think? Sorry to cut you, because a bit. Do you think? Sorry, Chris. Sorry to cut you. Do you think that comes as well a bit with being Bradford, a bit cocksure, a bit, you know, when you sort of that age coming up? I find that that's one of my strengths from being from Bradford.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes, and yeah. I mean, like I said, when I went for my first ever big audition when I went for Les Mis, like, I was a little bit scared, because I was like, do you know what? Like, these people are going to go to drama school with Stage 84 and Scarlet Kids and all that. And I was like, oh shit, I don't belong here. But when I got that at such a young age, then from that point onwards, I kind of was like, what's the words? Like, I was like, well, bollocks to everybody else. Like, I'm confident in my own ability. Do you know what I mean? And then after that, even now, like, whatever audition I go for, I think you've got to at least make a good impression. So you've got to go in and just project that confidence onto them. Even if you don't feel it, like, fully inside, you've got to kind of just muster it up and go in and be like, "Hi, I'm Chris. Nice to meet you. Thanks for seeing me." And just have that personal ability. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have that confidence in yourself, because one thing my mum always says to me is, like, if you don't believe in yourself, then no one's going to believe in you. Do you know what I mean?
So true.
So yeah, but obviously, I mean, the more you do it, like anything, the more you do it, the more you become comfortable with it.
I wonder, and I am going to come to Hollyoaks, but I wonder then, how does that sort of lead on, I suppose, into the sense of, when you've not got a role and you're going for auditions, how do you sort of like get between A and B? How do you sort of just stay afloat? How do you keep your sort of mental fatigue up, but also, you know, I suppose the hunger.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I've had my ups and downs in that sense, and I was incredibly lucky, because I was in Hollyoaks for 7 years. So, like, I joined Hollyoaks at 15 and I left when I was 21. And you don't realize, I mean, looking back on it now, it was a mental time. Like, you think about it, like, your formative years coming out of high school. I'd literally come out of high school just on my GCSEs, and then all of a sudden, I mean, at the time, like I said, I didn't realize it, but all of a sudden I go from being Chris Fountain from Bradford, who's going to Intake High School, to half the country knows who I am, and everyone wants to take pictures, and it's just, at the time, you get wrapped up in the bubble, and it's all exciting and stuff, and you're earning a good living, and you're getting attention, and it's great. But now I look back at that and I'm like, wow, that was intense, man. It was an intense period of time.
It must be intense, because I remember a theory that I heard is that the age that you sort of, I don't want to use the word make it, because I think that I don't really believe in that term, making it, but the sort of time that you become to public prominence, you really then don't have, unless you want to bet yourself, you really don't have any motive to grow up. because at that time you also have a lot of yes people around you, and you don't really get
yeah.
to,
I mean,
you don't really get to
I was
grow.
pretty lucky, man.
Sorry, go on.
I was pretty lucky. I was pretty lucky in that respect. Like I didn't really have that many yes people. Like a lot of my close friends, and especially my mum, my family. If I ever started to get in any way, shape, or form like being big-headed and anything like that, people, I would have been got a crack off my mum, or I thought my granddad would have slapped me. Like I would have been told like straight away. But like there is a certain sense of like you do get wrapped up in stuff. So I'm sure, as much as I've always tried to be like polite and friendly with everybody that I meet, like you're never going to make everybody happy. Like there's certain times when, like I remember when we used to play quite a lot of charity football matches with Hollyoaks, and I remember there's times where there'll be 500-600 people who all will wait behind after the match to want an autograph or a picture or whatever. And you'll try your very, very best to get round everybody. But at a certain point, the coach is leaving. And like 400 people that you've managed to sign, they'll all be like, yeah, Chris Fountain was lovely. He signed everything. But the 3 or 4 people that you don't will all be like, nope, he's a big head. He's arrogant. He didn't sign my thing. And it's like, and you can't, it's just tough, man. You can't do it for, you know, although you try, it's just, you'll never please everybody. And that's kind of something that I've kind of tried to live by, is that you can't please everyone. So like, you've just got to just try your best.
I'd say that, you know, being raised by a single mother in Bradford as well, like yourself, I think that when you are raised in that situation and you look at you have a blessed mum, like, I think that we're almost the products of how we've been
She's
raised.
watching, by the way.
Hey,
hi, Mum.
I see, you know, sound, yeah.
So my mum's watching.
Yes, respect. I didn't know that. I was just about to pick her up as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, Lindy Lou won. She's watching. I've got to say a few hellos, actually. I've seen a few people saying hello to me that are watching. I've got to say hello to Wayne and to Teddy and Ryan and Scarlett and everyone. Hello.
I respect, man. No, I was just going to say, what I tend to find is that we are like a product of how we've been raised, in a sense of it is about the manners and it is about the respect. And I think that in an industry that you're in,
mate, 100%,
I think that
manners make
out.
Man.
But I think not only does that not stand you out, I think that a beautiful sense is how we've met just through different circles and then been able to get on a level. It's always, it's just that I think you take people at face value as opposed to industry, what they're going to get out of me, do you know what I mean? And I think
you've got to,
such a skill.
Yeah, I think you've got to. I mean, I always try. I never try and judge people off of. I mean, you've got to give someone more than a first impression sometimes. You know what I mean? I mean, although I try and persuade myself as being quite confident, I get quite socially awkward sometimes. Like if I don't know people, if I'm with like my close friends, everyone will tell you I'm an absolute weirdo. Like I'm a weird individual. But if I'm around people that I don't particularly know, I find it quite hard sometimes to just go up and be like, oh, hi, I'm Chris. I find it a little bit like intimidating to do that. But Lloyd just put a message in the group saying, make him a cuppa. But I'm busy, mate. I'm busy. I'm talking. But yeah, it's you've just got. I think you've got to give people more of a chance. You never know who's having a bad day. You never know. Like, I don't think first impressions are always bang on. Do you know what I mean?
It's a great outlook to have. I definitely agree. Now we're going to get stuck into Hollyoaks because you were in the heyday of Hollyoaks for me, and I saw a question that came up earlier by Ryan Paul, good friend. Shout out to Ryan. He said, "What would you say your greatest storyline was? What was your greatest storyline from Hollyoaks?"
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Good question, innit?
Well, actually, my friend Kira Johnson, who's in Hollyoaks with me, is also watching. She just said hello. Hi, Kira. Do you know what? I was incredibly lucky at Hollyoaks because I was there for such a long period of time. I got gifted with some absolute belting storylines. There was some really and I think there's a misconception that when you spend a long time in soap, then you kind of play the same character all the time, and it's just like one kind of level. But I went from being horrible to being nice. Then I slept with my teacher, which then everyone loved it. And then I sent her to prison and she got killed and everyone hated me. And then I came back and it was kind of a big roller coaster. But I had some, like, I think the Justin and Becca one was a big one for me because it was one of the first times it had been done on TV, and it was just everywhere. Like it was a big thing within the country at that time. Like a lot of people were into that. And then I had another storyline where it was the big thing about who pushed Claire off the balcony. And weirdly, at the time, I think there was like 5 suspects who it could have been, and the producers didn't actually tell us until maybe a month before that they were going to reveal it. They were really clever. They kind of interweaved all these different storylines. So it could have been me, it could have been someone else, but it turned out it was me. Killed her.
And do you know that sort of relationship when you're on a show like that for a long time? Do you find that the writers, when they take a liking to you, they're sort of right with you in mind?
Yeah, I think it's obviously if you're in a show for a long time, I like to think my range is pretty broad in terms of playing like a good character and a bad character. Like some people prefer others. I kind of like to go all over the place, really. But
and sorry,
obviously, because you have a lot of.
Sorry, it is on a bit of a delay. Sorry, but when you do that, you know, like when you reach out and a producer may know that you like to, like have a wide range. Do they approach you and take you to one side and say, right, we want to push you in this angle, or do you go up to them and you say, I want to be pushed a bit more? How does that conversation sort of materialize?
I mean, initially you'll kind of like, you kind of go in every few months to have like a little general meeting with the producer. I mean, do you know what? It's a long time since I've done this, to be honest. But if my memory serves me correctly, like I remember Brian Kirkwood, who's the executive producer of Hollyoaks. He's an absolute diamond of a bloke. He always had a really open dialogue with the actors. So if you wanted to ask anything, you could go in and see him, and he'd always kind of keep you in the loop with like what they were thinking of doing. And you kind of had like, you don't have I mean, it would never be that I would go up and say, right, I want to do this. This is what I want the storyline to be. That's not how it works. But you kind of do have a little bit of input in terms of when you have your long-term meeting, you'll be like, right, well, okay, well, if this is what we're going to do, I'd like to kind of play it this way. Or you can kind of, you've got a little bit of maneuverability. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you can go up and go, right, I want to be the heartthrob of the show now. And they'll go, oh, okay, great.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, you do have a little bit of, what's the word? Input. You do try and get a little bit of input. And obviously when you're in a show for such a long time, like I was playing Justin for, like I said, for 7 years. Like sometimes if there's you'll get a script and you'll be like, well, I don't know if Justin would essentially say that. And you speak with the dad, because you forget there's such a chain of people that comes from the writers, through the producers, through to the script editors, through to the director, through to the actors. So by the time it gets on the floor, when you're actually doing it, it's gone through so many people, and you have to kind of respect that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an interesting world, man. It's something I'm incredibly passionate about, and I'd like to hope that this is what I'll continue to do until when I retire. But you know what? Who knows?
So what was Curry like then? What was it like, one quite, I'd say, more youthful in its appearance, and then Curry, which is just a stalwart, legendary, iconic.
Yeah.
So what was it like on there?
It was. Oh, what's going on? Oh, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back. Do you know what? It was an interesting one. I mean, I'll tell you a funny story actually. My audition for Hollyoaks, for Coronation Street, sorry, I got called up to Manchester to do a screen test, and I had my script and I was proper prepared and like ready to go. And anyway, they booked me a train ticket from London to Manchester, and I was reading. I mean, at the time, I kind of a lad called Ryan Thomas, who's watching at the moment. He's gonna love this story. He basically, I knew that he played Jason Grimshaw in Coronation Street, and I'd known him for a while. Like, I don't think he liked me at first, because I think I gave him a wet willy once on a football trip, and he never forgave me for that. But so anyway, I've gone into the first class lounge at what train station was it? No, not Victoria.
King's Cross.
What was it? Euston.
Just like you're first class. That's all.
I didn't pay for it though. That's what I mean. Got to take advantage of these stories. So anyway, I've got my scripts and I'm proper prepared. I've had a good night's sleep, and I get into Euston Station, and I thought I was seeing things, because I was like, I'm sure I'm doing a screen test with Ryan Thomas, and I'm sure that's Ryan Thomas in Euston First Class Lounge with Richard Fleishman looking incredibly hungover. So I've gone up to him, I was like, mate, I'm doing a screen test with you in about 2 hours. You went, yeah, don't talk to me. I'll see you there. And like, that was it. That was it. That was the start. And I got there, and he walked in, and to be fair to him, he absolutely smashed it. I mean, I was like, how is he going to manage to do this? But he did. And to be honest, I've got to give him credit, man. Maybe he's the reason I got the part. Who knows?
I love that. And then from there, your experience on Corrie, was it all roses? And again, you know, like everybody who you sort of have worked with previously, is there still like a close, you know, rapport and relationship?
Yeah, man. I mean, like you say, when you're working so closely with people, I've still got some unbelievably close friends from Hollyoaks. And like I say, when I joined Coronation Street, became really great friends with some. I got some like Ryan Thomas is one of my best friends like now, and like he kind of took me under his wing when I first moved to Coronation Street. We lived together. I don't think he enjoyed it as much as I did living with him, because he didn't really like me very much, so it was a bit weird. But yeah, but no, we're like super close now, and I still keep in touch with a lot of people from there. Because you think about it, like you work in. Especially there was a time when I was working with Michelle Keegan, when our characters were seeing each other on the show, and some people don't realize this, but when you're filming a soap, especially, you never really shoot. It don't always shoot in order.
Yeah, so I was going to ask this. Yeah,
you could have like
sequence.
No. So you could have you could start off your day at 7 o'clock in the morning. All in terms of like what locations are available and what the scheduling is like, where the other characters are, and all this stuff. But for example, there was a day when me and Michelle were doing like some scenes, and it was just me and her in every scene all day, 7 in the morning till 7 at night. Something daft like 10 or 11 scenes, but it was completely out of sequence. So the first scene we did at 7 o'clock in the morning after we'd done for makeup was us two absolutely screaming at each other, tears, crying, going nuts. And then the scene after that was the scene from like 2 days earlier, where we were all happy and friendly and like, and then we go back, and it jumps around. So you've got to be switched on to kind of, that's one of a lot of people don't think that the actors particularly work hard. And I mean, compared to doctors, nurses, like some people with like really super important jobs, we're not very important, but like people who do proper jobs. But I think in terms of the way that I look at it, it's mentally tough. Like if you imagine, if you have to pretend to be really upset and like screaming and being really emotional, and you have to do that for 7 hours of a day, by the time you get home, you've got nothing left. Like you've got no, like you're drained, and that's where the toughness comes sometimes. I think that like some people overlook that a little bit.
Do you feel that for a future project, you'd still like to, if the opportunity presented itself, be put in a long-term soap again, or would you, based on that sort of draining side of it, would you prefer shorter projects?
Listen, I mean, I think soaps are massively underrated. Like, it's you got like, and I've done like a few like dramas. Like last show I did was for Kay Mellor, a show called Girlfriends, and it's still tough. But you're shooting maybe 4 scenes a day. That's like, because you've got a lot more time to rehearse things, whereas soap, you've got to get out 5 episodes a week. And that's non-negotiable. You can't, like, that show is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you have to get, the turnover is so quick. So like when you're shooting a film or something like that, you might have like all day to shoot 1 scene. But when you are on a soap and the pressure's on and you've got to finish by 7:30 and you've got 2 shots to do and you've got to get that tear to drop there, and you've got to get like, everything's got to be bang on. You are under some serious pressure, man. It's hard work, but yeah, I think massive shout out to every single actor working in soap, because I know that it's not as easy as people think.
Now, one thing I wanted to really touch on was your wanderlust sort of travel lifestyle in a sense of
Yeah.
you love your festivals, you love your music. Talk
Mm-hmm.
to me a bit more about the DJing, and is there a potential of producing potentially?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I've been DJing since I was 16. I when I first started,
Did
I
you
used to
start in
play.
the loft?
No, I didn't. Actually, one of my first gigs was at Superna, a club that I used to own in Leeds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But like when I first started DJing, I was a massive garage head when I was at school.
Yeah.
Garage and grime, like the early stuff, early stuff.
Lighter crew, lighter.
Zup. But yeah, so I used to make hip hop mixtapes, and I used to play reggae and bashment and all sorts of stuff. And then kind of progressed and like started playing house and techno. I've kind of been like all over the place now, which I think kind of. Pardon? Said don't go straight to techno. I went all the way around there. Everything, big room house, all sorts of stuff, mate. You name it, I played it pretty much. But then I started taking it a little bit more seriously, probably about 5 years ago now, and I started really getting to know my music. And after going through all the different genres I've been through, I kind of had a bit of an understanding for it. And then I started producing. I went to Manchester MIDI School. Kind of just to learn how to make my own music, because where I struggle is I never actually properly learned to play any instruments. The only real instrument I can properly play is like drums and percussion.
Oh, fair.
Yes, that's my instrument. But like, I feel I've got quite a good ear, so like I can hear what I want to do. So it just takes me a little bit of time to actually get it to do what I want it to do. But like to transfer what's in my head onto the computer, that's why I went to the college course and started doing that. And then I don't know if you know him actually. I work and go under an alias of 22. That's kind of my DJ name, but that's with another lad called Will Crawshaw from Leeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and Will, I think me and Will have probably had like, yeah, man, we've had about like 10, 15 releases now, like some pretty like decent labels and stuff. It's never really gone as far as I wanted it to go, but like I enjoy making music, and I think a lot of people now fall into the trap of like they're trying to make a track for a certain purpose, for a certain label to be played at a certain place. Like, whereas a lot of the time when I sit down to write, I just see what comes out, and I like it. If you don't end up going massive and be played by Jamie Jones and whoever else, like who cares? Like I enjoy it, and I just annoy my mates by just playing. Oh, listen to this tune I've done. I know what I'm doing.
Is there any producers out there who you look up to? Because obviously, like when you are rocking about these festivals, any sets that have blown your mind, and anyone that you want to sort of shout out?
Completely, man. I mean, you've been to Burning Man, like
yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that, bro.
Yeah, the Lee Burridge Sunrise sets there are just next level. Like, I mean, I actually help co-run an event in London called Lost in Sound, and we play a lot of that kind of style of music, like the melodic, like techno, like kind of like the stuff that you hear at Burning Man, like the sunrise, like the dusty kind of mornings, and like beautiful melodies, and like I call them low slum groovers. So it's like nice right down there, got a bit of melody going on. Yeah, man. But yes, do you know what? There's a couple of producers from Leeds that I'm absolutely loving at the moment. You know Dave Garfitt?
Yeah. He's a good friend. He's in Australia now, isn't he, at minute?
Yeah, man. Nico Maxon, mate. He's been making bangers under the radar for like 5 years, man.
Yeah.
Me and Will actually remixed one of his tunes, and I was like, "Who's Nico Maxon?" He was like, "Oh, it's David Garfitt." I was like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
But yeah, he's absolutely smashing it, and also Matt Farrow of Kepler, mate.
Okay.
The garage stuff that he's making at the moment is ridiculous. Like proper groovy. Like it's kind of like throwbacks to like like when garage first started, and it was like a bit more raw and not like as vocal and nice as what the old school garage kind of side of it was. There's some good music, especially now. Now everyone's locked down. I can't wait for like 5-6 months there's going to be some absolutely ridiculous music flying around, man. Because everyone just, wherever I look, through my Instagram and on my Facebook, like all like the musical people that I know, whether it be like my mate Rick Fleischman and his girlfriend are writing, like they're writing an album together that's amazing. They're called Make a Man. They make like folky kind of music, techno, garage, like. Do you know what I bought recently? Actually, have you heard of Mark Rabie?
Oh yeah.
The guy with the loop station. So
yeah.
That's kind of how I make music. Like I just like to get it down like straight, really quickly. So I bought like the same loop station that he's got. Oh my god, they're so fun. Them, you know, like you can just like you don't even need to be that good at instruments. You can just sing it and just like beatbox and like bang
and
stuff.
Overdub on it and an echo.
Oh man, it's so fun, mate. It's really, really fun. So
you'll have to send me that over. You'll have to send me that over because I watch him. He's a sick guy. He's
unbelievable, bro. Yeah, he's good.
Know what spec he does.
Yeah, I've kind of set myself a challenge at this, like, for this year. I want to test myself and like do like a live performance, like just me and a little keyboard, a drum machine, and like do what he does, like just make it up and just like. I think that's something, this challenge I've kind of set myself this year.
Mate, let us know when you're doing that because that'd be incredible.
I will. I will, 100%.
To touch on him, he got stuck in his New York apartment lift and he was just making tunes off like tapping against the lift.
He just did a quarantine series because he was meant to be doing a week's worth of gigs in Australia, and it got cancelled. So basically, every night. He just sat down and he does like live streams and people ring him up and they give him a topic to make a tune about and he just starts and just some of the stuff he comes up with is incredible, man. It's really good.
No, he's genius. He is fully genius. Yeah. Nah, man, you'll have to let me know about that because I'm interested.
100%, man. Yeah, definitely. Man.
Well,
listen, how are you doing? What's going on? What's quarantine for you?
You know what, mate? Respect for asking. I'm blessed, you know. So obviously, while lockdown, trying to be as creative as I can. So I wanted to do these loose lips chats to just get to people, to know people, spread optimism, just spread like a good vibe. That's what I feel like my calling is on this planet to do. So thinking this time I want to step up and stand up and show that side. When we're out, I'm going to be doing my comedy tour. So I went on tour last year. I did Leeds, Manchester, London, and then I flew to Australia.
Mate, let me know when you're in London, man. I'll come see you. I'll come and represent, come support.
100%. Honestly, like I'm blowing smoke up my own trumpet, but I am the UK's Dave Chappelle. That's what I'm going for, bro. Like I'm telling you. I've put it out there.
Oh God, Dave Chappelle, man.
But no, it's blessed. It's all blessed. So I'm looking to do that. I'm also DJing as well. I play in Manchester a lot, like in the northern quarter mainly. So I play at like Crazy Pedro's and Ply.
Yeah. Oh, the pizza place.
Eh?
The pizza place.
Yes, mate. The pizza place. Honestly,
Crazy
Pedro's.
Pizza, you know. I don't know why. I've been sat here with my phone in my hand for the last 45 minutes. I just decided that I'm going to lean it against a bottle of water. Like, look, I can use both my hands now. These animal puppets and.
You look like you're a crip. Look like you're throwing up gang signs.
That's what is it?
No, man. What a sick chat. You know, I honestly, you know, every time I speak with you or every time we get to that, it's always on a level. Like you've just shown there, you always show like a genuine interest. And I do. I think
yeah, man, because you know what? Like I. Even though people I say I'm stuck in Bali, which I am, like I'm in a good position here, like, and I'm really like I say like a little affirmation every day. I'm grateful for where I am. Like me and Lloyd were saying before we just nipped to the shop, like to be able to do that, like just nip out on the scooter and like the sun, because there was loads of clouds today. There was like a big rainstorm, and like. The sun was going down, so like the entire sky was pink and there was clouds. I'm just driving around. There's all these green rice paddy fields, and like, we kind of slowed down on the bikes and went. Tell you what, like this could be like. We're very grateful to be able to like see this, because, like in London, if I was at home in London, I would be completely like locked down in my flat. I don't have an outside space, and it's just. Sometimes you've got to like have a little stop and a step back and just be like, shit, man, I'm grateful for stuff. Whatever you're grateful for, you've got to be great. You've got to sometimes just step back and just make sure you have a little moment to yourself and think about it. Do you know what I mean?
100%, man. There's just two more from me, if that's cool.
Of course,
Leaning on from what you're just saying there, man. And every time I do speak with you, there's a real solid spiritual element to you, or a universal feel. Like there's a lot of gratitude there. Can you talk us through how that sort of came into your life, and you know how sort of prominent a role it plays?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't kind of say it's a super spiritual thing or a super, like, I kind of, like, I've never massively been religious. That's never been like something that's been a big part of my life. But just kind of as I've got older and through my own experiences and going through some depression, going through like losing like people that are close to you and stuff like that, I think I've kind of just formulated my own kind of way of thinking and way of being. And I've always been quite just like an open person. Like I don't really hide my emotions. I'm quite an emotional person, like my friends will tell you. And I just think like there's so many like different ways of living. Like you've got like the universe, and you've got Buddhism, and you've got Islam, and there's all these like, I just think it's just kind of, there's so many rules and regulations. I think all I try to put it really simply and just like, be brave, be optimistic, and just be a good person. Like no matter where you're from, what you believe in, anything like that, just be good. That's as simple as it is for me. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't have to. If you want to meditate. You don't have to meditate every single day. You don't have to do this every single day. Like just do what you can to try and make your. You can't. Not everybody can change the world. I don't think. Like everyone can do their bit. And I can only alter what is in my immediate kind of circle. Do you know what I mean? So I just try and just make sure I'm good, and make sure I'm kind, and try and be as happy as possible.
You know what? That's a beautiful sentiment. And be brave, be optimistic, and be good is such an amazing, like.
Do you know what? I'm not going to take full credit for that. You know, like I've just finished reading a book by a guy called Gavin Oates, and it's called Life Will See You Now. And like I said, I only touched on it just briefly. I've had my issues with depression and anxiety and that stuff, which is another conversation for another day. It's not a positive loose lips conversation. But like honestly, if anyone's ever been through any stuff like that, like read that book, man. Like I've read it in about a week, and it's not as full on as stuff like The Power of Now and Secret and stuff like that. It's just that kind of vibe. It's like it's funny. It tells you to play more, to look up from your phone, and just don't like, be brave and be optimistic. That's where I nicked that little bit from there. Like, and the more I think about that, being brave and optimistic, like what's the worst that could happen? Do you know what I mean? Just be brave and optimistic and be good, and that's it. That's all.
Could you share the title of the book again, please, and the author?
Yeah, it's called Life Will See You Now.
So Life Will See You Now, and who's it by?
Let me get one sec. I'll get the book.
Exclusive. Life Will See You Now.
Life Will See You Now.
By Gavin Oates.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Have a read.
You know what, brother? It's
got my hand sanitizer.
Mate, you want to sell that? That'll be your flight back.
Mate, that's so. Whoever bought shares in hand sanitizers absolutely smashed it.
You know what I was thinking, that? You know, like when you do the Amazon behind the scenes shop where you don't have the products, but you order the products and you just like send it on. If you would have done that in Amazon, like in hand sanitizer, you are balling now.
All hand sanitizer and face masks, you smashed it.
Yeah, you know what? The problem making the videos, putting hand sanitizer overhead like Peter Andre, Mysterious Girl video.
Oh mate! I tell you what was pretty mint, right? Last night, and I can't show you now. I don't know if it's still there, but last night in Bali there was like this mad moon phenomenon.
What full moon on it?
Yeah, it was. But listen, it was a full moon, but like there was the moon, and then it had like this massive like ring going like all the way around. I'll send you a picture of it. It's crackers, mate. Like this moon had like a halo going around it. It was bonkers.
No, a lot of my mates who were into the well-being and healing side, they were all like manifesting and getting the crystals out, charging it to that moon last night. So yeah, I do definitely believe in sort of those entities and those powers. But when you're there and you're seeing it,
there's definitely something going on there, man. It's all kind of all sorts of stuff happening. I don't pretend to understand it all, but there's stuff happening there.
You know, you got to zone in and vibe. But the final one then, because I've got Tristan da Cunha on after.
What a DJ!
Yeah, mate.
What a DJ Tristan is, mate. Jesus.
So if you want to stick about for that chat after, get involved with watching that. But
yeah, man.
Yeah, let's try in the next 3 minutes sum up Burning Man. because it's
3 minutes.
In 3 minutes,
like 3 months.
Jesus, it's a life change, isn't it? Have you been Glastonbury as well?
I've never done Glastonbury. I've done Burning Man 4 times now.
You did one by yourself, didn't you?
Solo, yeah. I think is that what I saw you?
Yeah, no, you saw me the WAF year when we all went to Lake Tahoe.
Was it? I don't know. Mate, it all rolls into one, man. Like, but do you know what? Burning Man, for me, like, I'll try and sum this up really quickly. Like I mentioned before about people always, from leaving high school, people have always, someone somewhere knows who I am because of Hollyoaks, or they see me on this, or they see me on that. So, like, I remember the first time I went to Burning Man, it was quite a liberating experience because it was the first and only time in my adult life where I went out to a party and no one gave a shit about Hollyoaks or Coronation Street or Chris Fountain or Dancing Eyes. Everyone just treated me like everybody else because they had no idea. Like, no one, and to be fair, I was dressed like an absolute lunatic anyway. I had goggles on and a hat and all sorts. And it was really liberating for me because I didn't have to, I could completely let loose. I didn't have to worry about, oh, am I going to have to take pictures, or is someone going to like film me getting pissed, or it was actually a liberating experience. But I'd urge anybody, if you get, I mean, I don't even know if it's going to be on this year, is it? Like, with everything that's going on. I
don't think they've released the tickets. The ticket was that the lizard.
That was something, man. You got dragonflies and stuff flying around out here.
I don't think they've released the tickets, but I believe that because it's, you know, back end of August, they might be trying to style it. Say like if we're all released, say like May, June.
You can still get you know how long it takes to set all that up. Like, it's not like, oh, it's in August, let's go. Like, people are out there like months before, like sorting out the infrastructure and all that. But I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to go this year, but like, I think I'm going to try and do it another time because it's just phenomenal, man. Like the people that you meet and I can tell anybody what it looks like, and I can tell you what the music's like, and I can tell you about the art cars and the outfits and the sunset. But until you actually get there, you can't describe the vibe of it. And just with no money, no class system, no nothing, like, everybody's on the same level, and you walk around, people will give you breakfast, people will give you a hug, people will give you they'll spank you if they feel like it. There's all, when you get there and you experience like that, the what's the word, like the
camaraderie and just
the community of that place is like nothing. It's like nothing else. Like, everyone sometimes tries to compare it. It's not a festival. It's a city that's there and then disappears. It's bonkers. But yeah, if anyone gets a chance to go, like, I fully recommend it.
You know what, brother? I think that's a perfect way to wrap up. But if you want to do this again another time, and we can devote a bit more time to talking about Burning Man, I think that'd be sick, because I think that would be another like lead in there. But respect for doing this, brother. Thank you always. Listen, man.
Thank you, man. I think this is a great thing what you're doing, man. Like, having a nice chat. Like, it's been good. It's been good, and I appreciate you having me on.
Nah, respect, man. We've had a lot of people through, a lot of comments, so thank you.
Listen, sorry to everyone who's like said put a shout out and stuff. I've been fully wrapped up in this chat, so I've not really had a chance to shout everyone out. But Harry, big ups, Mum, hello, Ryan, everybody, Lloyd, Paris, all Wayne Feezy, big shout out. Love to everyone.
Yeah, and shout out to Bradford as well. Whipsy massive, you know that represent. You stay safe and cool out there, brother. And
cheers, bro.
I'll send you another message.
When I eventually get back, I might be here forever now. Who knows?
Do it. You hold tight, brother.
Mate.
In a
Take
bit.
care, man.
Bye.
Love. See you in a bit.
Bye. So there we are. Loose Lips, first chat of the day with the man, the legend himself, Chris Fountain. Proper humble brother. What I really wanted to sort of touch him with that chat was, you know, leaving school and going straight into acting and into a successful soap, you know, is the scope for life outside it. And one of the things that I really love when I get to speak with him is he's got such a lust for life. You know, he's out in Bali currently, but he's always seeking the adventure. And you know, he might not put it on a term of like being spiritual, but there's definitely I find an air and a wise substance to him through, you know, obviously experiences that he's lived through and the person that he's grown into. What an absolute amazing gent. So thank you for sticking by. I've got another chat coming up at 4 with Tristan DeCuna, who is a bad boy DJ producer from Leeds. He is a Back to Basics resident and an absolute amazing wealth of knowledge of just, trust me, it's going to be a good chat. So if you want to check that out, I'll end this live and then I'll send it back. But thank you, everybody, for stopping through. Shout out Emma, shout out Ryan. I see you. I respect it. Thank you, everybody. I'm Ben Random. This has been Loose Lips. See you on the other side.